Postmodernism, a term often shrouded in ambiguity, represents a profound shift in intellectual and cultural thought that emerged in the latter half of the 20th century. It's not easily defined, nor does it present a unified front. Instead, it functions more as a lens through which to examine the world, a lens that refracts and fragments previously held certainties. Essentially, postmodernism can be understood as a reaction against the perceived limitations and failures of modernism, the dominant paradigm of the early to mid-20th century, which championed reason, progress, and universal truths. While modernism sought to establish grand narratives and overarching systems of meaning, postmodernism dismantles these structures, revealing the inherent subjectivity and fluidity of reality. At the heart of postmodern thought lies a deep skepticism towards grand narratives. Where modernism sought universal explanations for human existence, postmodernism emphasizes the multiplicity of perspectives and the impossibility of objective truth. Knowledge, rather than being a fixed entity, becomes a social construct, shaped by individual experiences, cultural contexts, and power dynamics. This relativism, while liberating in some respects, also raises concerns about the potential for nihilism and the erosion of shared values. If all truths are relative, what, if anything, can be considered universally valid? This skepticism extends to the very notion of meaning itself. Postmodern thinkers often employ deconstruction, a method of analysis that seeks to expose the hidden biases and power structures embedded within language and established systems of thought. By dissecting seemingly straightforward texts and ideas, deconstruction reveals the inherent instability of meaning and the ways in which language can be used to reinforce dominant ideologies. This process of deconstruction, while valuable in its critical approach, can also lead to a sense of fragmentation and a loss of faith in traditional institutions and authority. Furthermore, postmodernism embraces irony, self-reflexivity, and pastiche. Works of art, literature, and architecture often incorporate elements from different styles and periods, blurring the lines between high and low culture and challenging traditional notions of originality and authorship. This playful and often irreverent approach reflects a world saturated with information and images, where the distinction between reality and representation becomes increasingly blurred. The postmodern artist, rather than striving for originality, often engages in a process of appropriation and recontextualization, creating works that are both familiar and strangely new. However, postmodernism is not without its critics. Some argue that its emphasis on relativism undermines any basis for moral or ethical judgment. Others criticize its perceived lack of constructive solutions and its tendency towards cynicism. The fragmentation of meaning and the rejection of universal truths can be seen as contributing to a sense of cultural malaise and a loss of shared purpose. Moreover, the complex and often jargon-laden language used by some postmodern thinkers can create a barrier to understanding, further alienating those who are not already familiar with its core concepts. Despite these criticisms, postmodernism remains a significant force in contemporary thought. It has profoundly influenced fields ranging from art and literature to philosophy and architecture. While its emphasis on subjectivity and the fluidity of meaning can be unsettling, it also offers a valuable challenge to traditional ways of thinking. By questioning established norms and exposing hidden biases, postmodernism encourages us to critically examine the world around us and to recognize the multiplicity of perspectives that shape our understanding of reality. Ultimately, postmodernism, in its complex and often contradictory nature, reflects the fragmented and uncertain world in which we live. It is a philosophy that grapples with the shifting sands of truth, acknowledging the inherent ambiguity of existence and the impossibility of absolute certainty.